Good morning, everyone. I'm Anika Sundar, and I'm a sophomore at the Fort Lane High School. And today we will be discussing mental health challenges among Bay Area adolescents. So first we need to understand teen mental health. Mental health is a widespread and deeply felt concern amongst teens. Many carry heavy emotional burdens, often quietly and alone. There's an urgent need for youth-informed education, stronger school-based support, and open judgment-free conversations across communities. Teens are overwhelmed, anxious, and navigating family pressure, academic stress, and personal challenges. While common, these struggles show up differently, and willingness to talk about them varies by gender and age. From anxiety and burnout to depression and unhealthy relationships, the challenges are wide-ranging, deeply personal, and often intensify over time. Though many are quick to support a struggling friend, most hesitate to ask for help themselves, even when they want to. Stigma, fear of judgment, and concerns about confidentiality remain major barriers, especially when it comes to using school-based mental health resources. Until support systems feel safe, relatable, and free from shame, they will go unused. This research calls for youth-informed solutions at school, at home, and across communities that meet teens where they are and remind them, you are not alone. So first we're going to be going over the research methodology. I constructed a survey which was developed to explore pressing mental health issues affecting teens in their community. The survey consisted of 28 quantitative and 1 qualitative question. The survey took around 10 minutes to complete and was distributed from February 17 to 28, 2025 via word of mouth, text message, social media, and in select schools. Overall, 1,623 youth in California completed the survey. However, in this presentation, we are going to be focusing on the data in the Bay Area. Respondent demographics. This was a section at the beginning of the survey to see if there are any associations between demographics and responses. So the total respondents in this survey was 272 respondents, using a sample formula to ensure optimal accuracy. The goal was 384 respondents, and it was not quite met, but it was kind of close. So demographics, age, and grade level. As you can see, there is a wide range of age and grade level. However, there is definitely more of an emphasis on the older spectrum of the age grades, with more 11th and 12th graders and 18 to 17-year-olds. Respondent demographics, race and gender identity. So you can also see diversity in the race and ethnicity and gender identity. However, there is definitely a big skew towards some demographics like Asian or Asian American and female, who accounted for over half of the respondents. In future surveys, it would be beneficial if there was more diversity in the demographics. So these are the lab findings. First, we're going to be looking at the factors affecting youth mental health. All of the future findings were based on the answers from the survey. Sleep habits. 96% of teens in the Bay Area say sleep significantly affects their mental health, yet over 2/3 are not getting enough sleep, and sleep declines with age. Participation in extracurriculars. 95% of Bay Area teens take part in extracurriculars, with nearly 1 in 4 students spending more than 10 hours per week on extracurricular activities, which leads us to the next slide. Feelings of overwhelm. Most students, over half, 58.9%, feel overwhelmed on a weekly basis, if not daily. Female students report frequent overwhelm more often than males, who more commonly experience only occasional or rare stress. Time management. As academic and extracurricular demands increase, time management becomes more difficult, contributing to rising feelings of overwhelm, peaking in 11th grade. Impact of self-esteem. The impact of self-image can fluctuate depending on the day, environment, or stressors. Female students were more likely to report negative self-esteem compared to their male counterparts. Now we're going to be going over the mental health challenges. Here are the most common mental health challenges. Teens most commonly report struggles with anxiety, burnout, family challenges, social anxiety, low self-esteem, and depression, reflecting complex pressures from academics, social life, home, and internal expectations. Impact of mental health on their lives. Mental health impacts nearly every aspect of teen lives, self-esteem to academic, daily functioning, and safety, with very few reporting little to no effect across these areas. At least 3 in 4 students report that mental health strongly affects their emotional well-being, self-esteem, academic performance, sleep, their friendships and social life, and ability to manage their responsibilities. Seeking support and self-care. Comfortability, seeking support. Most students feel at least somewhat comfortable asking for support, but 1 in 4 students do not feel comfortable at all. Coping mechanisms. Common coping mechanisms can help, but may lead to avoidance and isolation. As you can see, there are some healthy coping mechanisms like listening to music and watching movies or shows, but there are also ones that can isolate you, like spending time alone, excessive screen time, avoiding, and procrastination. Comfortable and supportive spaces. Teens most feel comfortable discussing mental health in judgment-free, confidential, safe spaces with trusted, empathetic listeners, especially when conversations include shared experiences, vulnerability, and active support. Who you turn to for support. Nearly half of teens say that they would reach out to no one, even when they wanted help, reflecting barriers like stigma, confidentiality concerns, and uncertainty. Comfortability of offering support to friends. Teens find it much easier to give support to others than to ask for help themselves. And what makes teens comfortable opening up? This question was a free response question, so here are some quotes or snippets from what they said. And some would include that they want to know that I can share without being judged. They want a close relationship with people they want a close relationship with the person they are confiding in. It's easier if I know they care. Addressing stigma. I don't want to be seen as weak or broken. Normalizing the conversation. Talking about mental health shouldn't be taboo. Mental health support at school. Now that we see the mental health challenges present in adolescents, let's see how they see the mental health resources that are present in their school. Utilization of school mental health resources. 2/3 of students hesitate to use school mental health resources. Only about 1 in 10 would likely or definitely seek school-based support. Familiarity or comfort with school resources. Fewer than half know where to find help, citing stigma, embarrassment, and confidentiality concerns as major barriers. Barriers to utilizing mental health resources. Many students feel unsafe or uncomfortable discussing mental health, fearing judgment or stigma from peers or adults at school. And here is a continued list of the data. What students say would actually help. Teens believe school mental health resources, students believe that school mental health resources could be more approachable and accessible through greater teacher and staff support. Thank you. These are the findings from the survey focusing on the Bay Area. I hope to build off of this data and construct solutions addressing the inherent mental health issues present in society. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
So, Anika, what is your favorite coping mechanism among those you mentioned?
I would say personally for me, I like to spend time alone so I can get self-reflection, and a lot of the coping mechanisms listed were unhealthy, and I have to admit that I also have unhealthy coping mechanisms, which also further emphasizes the need for addressing this and to have more awareness of what healthy coping mechanisms are.
This intertwines so much with the digital wellness, you see. When we feel alone, when we are feeling aggravated, and it's not just the teens, I think us too. When we are angry, we don't want to confront, we just take our phone and dig into it too. So we are actually kind of also setting wrong examples for our kids. When we are upset about something, we don't want to confront it, we don't want to go for a walk. We will switch on TV or go through reels. And I think that's, if digital behavior needs to change, I think so.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, over half of respondents said that scrolling on social media, doom scrolling, was a coping mechanism that they
Yeah, the one of the top, actually the top coping mechanism you mentioned is listening to music.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
So I have to keep telling my kids, why are you always on the headphone? Now I know, because.
So what I say is that
Yeah.
music is a very good coping mechanism and it always uplifts the mood. So don't listen, don't just keep the good thing to yourself, let the whole family listen. So we have this, if you're listening to music at home, sometimes Nandini doesn't like it. We want the whole family to listen.
Okay.
Put on the speakers so everybody can enjoy the music.
That'll work. That's a great idea.
Question. You mentioned the challenges are more in girls as compared to boys. Is there have you figured out any rational reasons as to why that is so?
That's a good question. So actually, first of all, there was more girls in the respondents than boys. I think the girls were like 53%, and there was also other genders, excluding female and male. So that's one thing. Also, I would say that they have a tendency not to report just because of traditional masculinity ideals. I actually did some extra research on it, and there are so many studies saying that because of the traditional masculinity ingrained in society, males are less likely to report vulnerability and stuff like that. So I would say that they may not. I wouldn't say that they feel less stress or overwhelmed, but I would say that they have less of a tendency to report that stress and overwhelm.
I see. Thank you.
I'll really suggest for you guys to take a look at the listening wall because it's actually really a very cool way without, it's anonymous. So what parents are doing, what parents are facing, what the teenagers are facing, sometimes there is a huge gap. Like I say, no, you can't be texting so much. And, the child might feel that if I do not, I am missing out. There are discussions going on, there are conversations going on, and then I feel left out. Because a lot of part of this generation's social life is actually digitized. It's not as much as, face to face. So I think there's a gap between what we think should be the right way and what the kids also know should be the right way, but they are helpless because everyone else is doing the same thing, and if they step out of that zone, then they feel left out, and nobody wants to feel left out. Even adults, nobody wants to feel left out. So please go to the listening wall, post your thoughts, because when you know that there are hundreds of people feeling like you, that is one step closer to what we can do about it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Okay. Thank you.